Hey, what's going on? We are in the back seat of a Tesla Model 3. I figured that would be appropriate for this channel since we feature all things PEVs. And I am back here with my buddy, Pleasant Green, aka my friend Ben. And we're coming back from a video that he's working on because he has a pretty popular YouTube channel and we are going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about what we're doing in Salt Lake, Ben.
Oh, well, you know, I just really wanted an excuse to ride in the back of a Tesla. So
you ever been in one before?
No. Well, I tried this out a couple nights ago for a few minutes, but never on, you know, a big trip. So we took a 30-minute drive down here to Salt Lake to get some lunch, work on a video, and now we're going to go back. But yeah, I just like riding in an electric car, knowing that we're saving the planet, you know?
Yep. Well, the reason why I thought this was appropriate is because, yes, we're in an electric vehicle, but you also own an electric vehicle. You own the Super73 S2.
Yep.
What made you buy a Super73 S2?
You.
Oh, yeah?
You talked me into it.
Nice. Do you regret it?
Nope. It's been one of the best things I've bought. You know, I consider, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great tool, especially with gas prices the way they are. I use it to go to the post office, run errands, go to the store, and just kind of hang out with friends at night. It's just fun to cruise around and explore your city and where you live. So it's an awesome tool. I love it.
That's funny, yeah, because we live in kind of a small town area, and we have a bunch of mutual friends, and it's funny to get texts saying, hey, I saw Ben doing a post office run on his Super 73. And the reason why you go to the post office so much is because you are shipping out books. So let's talk about what your YouTube channel is, why you're shipping out books, how it all started. But first, one of the first videos on that YouTube channel is me riding one of those hoverboards in an 80s outfit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that my channel started with electric vehicles, didn't it?
That's right. So we'll be sure to check that one out. I'll make sure to link it. But now you do scam videos. I think you've been given the title Scam Baiter. Would you call yourself a Scam Baiter?
I don't know. If people want to call me that, fine. I just like to make videos and tell stories, and I seem to run into a lot of scammers, and so that seems to be what I've focused my channel around. So yeah, I respond to those weird text messages and emails and phone calls that you get. I like to figure out who's behind them. I like to figure out how the scams work and ultimately warn people about what to watch out for. But yeah, so if you like scams, if you like learning about the ins and out of the scam world, you can come check me out on my channel. We'd love to have you.
So he's just about to hit 1 million subscribers. I know this channel, we could take a small number of you and move you over there, so be sure to check out his channel. Every little bit helps. If you haven't heard of Pleasant Green, which I'd be surprised if you haven't, or if you at least don't recognize him, check out his channel. But it all started with you selling a couch on a local listing, not like Craigslist, but like our local one, right?
Actually, I was selling a camera.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I wanted to get into the YouTube thing, and so I needed to upgrade my camera, and a scammer tried to rip me off. He tried to get me to ship it to Nigeria. Whoa!
We won't say how fast we just went.
Yeah, these Teslas, they accelerate fast. It takes your breath away. It's like a roller coaster, you know. But anyway, yeah, I almost got ripped off, and I thought, dang, we need to be talking about these scams more. And so I made a video about me taking revenge on that scammer. I didn't mail him my camera. Instead, I mailed him something else that was much more vile, and you'll have to go to my channel to find out what it was. Yeah, so that's kind of where my channel started. A lot of people are like, yeah, keep going, keep doing this. We like seeing you take it to the scammers. We like seeing the good guys win, so do more of this. And so I said, okay.
Yeah, it's super entertaining. Definitely a package you wouldn't want to get. So be honest.
But that's not what I'm selling on my channel. Like that's not what I'm taking to the post office.
Oh yeah.
I know that we're trying to segue into that. I'm not mailing people. I said it. What I like to do is I like to tell scammers, hey, you're better than this. You can live a better life than what you're doing now. So stop scamming. Instead, you know, put your mind to work. And so I've worked with some scammers who have been able to do things like photography and illustration and So I've made little booklets of their work, and so I sell these little booklets to try to raise money, and we use the money for good causes.
So we're like right in election season. I don't think this part of the story gets told as much as I think it should, but I think it's hilarious. So Ben was running a Facebook page for a local politician, and all of a sudden got reached out to by somebody who was in Africa, we could assume at that time. And because it was a mistaken identity where Ben was managing it on behalf of someone else, then Ben took over the conversation. And what ensued, speaking of shipping the cameras to foreign countries?
Oh yeah, so he wanted to go into business with me. He was in Africa and he said, let's go into business together. And I was like, what's the business? And he said, you're going to send me laptops and iPads and stuff, and we'll sell them on the Liberian market in Africa. And I thought, that's ridiculous. Let's come up with a better idea. So I kind of put him on this wild goose chase where I said, how about you take pictures for me, and maybe I'll pay you for the pictures that I like. And I just thought it was, a funny little social experiment that I was, going to do. I didn't think that he'd actually take me up on my offer, but he did. I actually sent him a camera. I mailed my camera to Liberia. not a nice one like this, but like a really cheap one, like a $25 one off Amazon. And I said, use this.
Did you think it would make it?
I don't know. I was skeptical because I had no idea about how shipping. The weird part is that he couldn't actually give me an address. He gave me like an area. He said, I live next to the Coca-Cola factory. I'm like, okay, well, what's the street address? He's like, what do you mean street address? I'm like, what's the house number? He's like, house number, what's that? I'm like, they don't have that. Like, they just have these little communities in that part of the world. And so you ship your thing to the community center and then they have to go pick it up. And I was like, wow, I need to get out more. I need to travel more, because that blew my mind. And so I was like, is he going to get this package? But he did get it. And he started taking pictures, and the pictures started to get better and better. And people on YouTube who follow me were like, let's make a book. Let's sell these pictures. Let's raise some money. And that's kind of how it all started.
So yeah, you can watch the full story on his channel. One thing that Ben's really good at is telling like episodic stories. I mean, wasn't that your dream since you were young, to make movies? And you've always been into film for as long as I've known you. I think one of the first times we hung out was probably making videos for the bookstore we used to work at. Don't look those up.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I like to play around with cameras and make fun things that you can share with others. So yeah, I didn't think Hollywood would be calling me up too soon, and so I saw YouTube as an opportunity to express myself and tell stories, and so it's been a fun place to be.
Obviously, you've made it work. How long have you had your channel?
Probably 5 years.
5 years. So yeah, so currently, like, if you go over to Ben's channel, you'll see a bunch of one-off stories of different types of scams. Recently, I have an acquaintance who was ripped off, so I kind of want to talk about the different scams to look for. I know that there's actually a lot of scams in like the e-bike world as well, where you think that you're buying a product and it's just a quickly spun up Shopify site and you'll never see your money again. I got ripped off trying to buy an electric scooter for what I thought was a really good deal. This was pre this YouTube channel, but there's so many different types of scams. The one that I wanted to kind of highlight was this one where this person I know thought that they were trying to cancel a subscription to, I think it was Amazon Prime. How did they get her money?
Oh yeah, you told me about this, and I've seen this a lot. A lot of people, when they want to cancel something, whether it be YouTube or Amazon Prime or Apple, whatever it is, what we do is we Google, right? We say, how do I cancel my Amazon Prime, or how do I cancel this? And we look for the first thing that catches our eye. And what scammers are doing is they're paying money for ads that will rank at the top of the page. And so a lot of people will just kind of see the first thing that pops up on their screen, and maybe it's an ad from a scammer who says, come to my site and I'll help you cancel your YouTube subscription or your Amazon subscription. And so you get there, and it's really just a trick to get you to call them up. they might have you click a couple links, but ultimately it says, oh, you need to call and talk to one of our support agents and we'll cancel this for you. And so now you're talking to the scammers on the phone. They're based in India. And what they do is they come up with this roundabout way of convincing you that you need to, in order to get your $40 back, you need to move aside $400 into sometimes they do like a refund to your account where they make you think that you're getting $400, and then you have to kind of move that $400 to a secure account, and a lot of times you're using Zelle to move it over to their account. And so it's kind of a crazy way that they social engineer you. And if you're distracted, I mean, you'll just go along with it. But yeah, it happens more than you think. It happens way more than you think, according to the FBI numbers that we see every year. A lot of money gets moved to India with these telefraud scams. It's pretty shocking.
Yeah, one of the tactics they used on this acquaintance is that they created this sense of urgency as she began to question it. They said, no, trust me, and just started really talking faster, louder, sometimes even getting mad. So you can see how they use that tactic of getting someone flustered to just give up and say, okay, fine, I believe you, here's my money. And we're sitting in these seats wondering, how does somebody fall for that? But until you're in that situation, you'll never know. And that's why it's important to be vigilant on stuff like this. So shifting back to your channel, it's super successful. You're on the cusp of hitting 1 million subscribers. I have a lot smaller channel, and it's brought some awesome opportunities. Companies have sent me stuff. I've been able to go to the Super73 unveiling event earlier this year. So I can only imagine what types of opportunities you've been able to experience with where you're at. What are some notable experiences having a popular channel?
I've been able to kind of travel a little bit. I've been able to go to Africa. You came with me.
Yeah.
I've been able to work with, some law enforcement agencies and other creators in this space who have really kind of, helped me understand just the ins and outs of a lot of, technical secrets to exposing scammers' tactics and just lots of ins and outs of the scam world. So it's just been really eye-opening to me. It's been really, I've met a lot of victims who have lost a lot, and so that's been really, humbling and really shocking, and you really, your heart goes out to these people, and it reignites this passion for you to help people more. And so I really want to keep talking about this because, like as you just said, too many people are falling for these types of things, and so we need to be talking about this more. And so it just makes me want to do it more and more, because that's the only way we stop these scams, is by making everybody aware about it.
So what was your first email from the FBI like? What went through your head?
Yeah, I don't know. They like to keep our conversations private, but it was just crazy to me when they reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to, talk to us? Like,
so do I need to cut this part out?
No, it's fine. Like I have been able to work with them on a couple things that, we don't talk too much about, but it was just crazy to know that I've heard from law enforcement agencies that what we're doing is working.
That's awesome.
That YouTubers who talk about this, who go after the scammers, it helps, and it's creating awareness opportunities, and it's helping people. And so it's good to know that we're helping, and we're getting people to know more about this, so that they can use their judgment and stay away from these types of scams.
So speaking about emails out of the blue, how many emails a day do you get of people that are just
let's
struggling?
Count. Oh boy, too many to count.
Too many.
I get emails from people who say, hey, check out this scammer. I get emails from people who say, hey, I just fell for this scam.
You even get texts from us all the time too. Like, have you seen this one? Does it ever get old? Does it weigh on you? I guess?
Mean, there's just you see so many emails that are so similar, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I've seen this scam, I see it 10 times a day. But then you see an email and you're like, wow, I haven't heard of that before. And so I try to read everything. I can't respond to every one of them, obviously, but I try to read them because there's always going to be that one email that I'm like, wow, that needs to be explored.
Yeah. So you tell a lot of stories about scammers, but we were kind of talking, we went to Salt Lake for lunch, and we were kind of talking about the direction of your channel. I don't know if you want to talk much about some of the thoughts you've had on different types of videos. What other kind of videos would you like to make as the opportunity presents itself?
I'm kind of focused on scams right now. The types of scams that are run by criminals and organizations on the other side of the world, but there's also a lot of things that I would consider scams that operate here in the United States, and sometimes they're just weird offers and weird ads that you see on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. There's lots of companies that are selling things that are way too good to be true, and I like to explore those and have fun with those. And I hear from so many people who see an ad and they're like, there's no way that is what they claim it is, and then they ignore it. They just don't buy it. Well, I want to start buying those things and start showing it off and saying, hey, look, here's what you get. I don't want you to waste your money, but I'll buy it and I'll show you so that you can be aware of kind of how some companies package their items in order to get you to buy them.
That's right. Yeah, like kind of getting into the YouTube ad rev side of things. Like, you have a little bit of a disposable income off of YouTube ad revenue, where you see that opportunity, you spend that money so they don't have to, and then of course you probably make that money back in a video or two, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to provide value in your videos, and if you're and I think that you have to be investing in your videos, whether that's in equipment or content or just material that you're showing off. Like, you have to have something of value in your videos, or else people will go find something else to watch. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, so you've really got to deliver value. And so it's become a little bit of an investment for me to find stories to tell.
Yeah, I know that there's a handful of subscribers on this channel that have YouTube video or YouTube channels. In fact, I started following them as I've created this channel, and this channel's monetized. I make a little bit off of YouTube ad revenue, but that's funny. We're on autopilot right now. We're not driving, but it wouldn't let my buddy driving get over because he thought he was trying to stay on the freeway. But complete side tangent. Technology can be your friend, but it can also work against you.
It's doing a pretty good job, though.
Yeah, it's been awesome. In fact, we avoided a rear-end collision on the way down on this beautiful rainy day. Okay, so where I was going with that is there's the ad revenue piece, but where I've found value is working with brands and talking about their products, and then also a little bit of affiliate marketing or affiliate sales. That's been super helpful for a small channel starting out. What's some advice as far as somebody who does want to try to make it in YouTube? I guess make it a living or make it a nice side hustle. Do you have any observations there that have worked for you?
You just got to go back to providing value. I think that your channel needs to have like a value proposition. You have to have something that you're known for. What is that one thing that people appreciate about you? What caused them to subscribe in the first place? You got to define that, and you got to say, how do I deliver on that with every single video? If you're uploading stuff that doesn't have that value, if it's just a whatever video, people will get sick of that. They'll see right through it and they'll be like, okay, you're not giving me what I came for, and they'll go find something else. So every time you upload a video, you got to make sure, am I giving the audience what they want?
You've kind of experimented with that. You like to do chicken sandwich videos because you're a connoisseur of chicken sandwiches, would you say? How has that gone, posting on a scam baiting channel about chicken sandwiches?
Yeah, like every channel has to have you have to have a niche. You have to have something that sets you apart, and if you're spread too thin, it's hard to maintain a loyal audience. And so if you're kind of talking about one thing here and one thing there, then that's not how successful channels grow. You got to have like one thing that you're known for. But I am trying to explore different things so I can reach more people. And sometimes some of my subscribers appreciate my thoughts on food and chicken sandwiches, and so maybe I'll do that like once in a while. I can't do it too much because I don't want my channel to be known for that. I don't think there's enough, to talk about regarding chicken sandwiches. But
there's plenty of chickens in the world, but not enough chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, so I always try to just stay really focused.
Gotcha.
But sometimes I can have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, no, it's important. I think it's good for people to see your personality. Your studio is a room that's set up in the basement of your house. But a lot of YouTubers that I watch, especially on this channel, they're out and about. Their studio or their creative zone is the city that they live in. I think we're all familiar with Casey Neistat's love for New York City. What are the challenges in shooting a video kind of in one location? How do you keep your videos interesting? Because I think they're interesting. I'm not saying they're not interesting, but like, what are some things to make sure that it's not just you sitting on your couch talking about scams?
Yeah, you have to mix things up, and that's something that Casey Neistat does a lot. Like, he doesn't even when he's like walking around, like, he doesn't just use one camera angle. He doesn't just hold the camera in front of his face. He does a stable shot, and then he does a handheld shot, and then he does like a drone shot. Like, he mixes it up, and he has all these pattern interrupts to keep you, going and keep you watching. And so the same thing goes for me. My camera's just on a tripod, so I have to figure out, how do I keep the story interesting? What do I do with music and editing and B-roll? Like, how do I keep the story moving, and how do I keep the audience engaged? That's a trick, and it takes practice.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, for this channel, like, I've found success in solving problems. We've collaborated on a few videos together, and one of the problems was, I think a lot of people with S2's experiences, the brakes squeak.
Yeah.
They stop you, so I can't say they suck, but they definitely squeak. Everybody knows you're coming.
Yeah, like, I got it out of the box, and it squeaked out of the box, and I thought, did they not like test this thing coming out of the factory? And we tried everything, like everywhere I went to the bike shop. They're like, oh, just sand it, just clean it. Everybody said that. Clean, sand the rotor, sand the pads.
Yeah.
I did it like 12 times, and everybody's like, oh, just sand it. And I did it, I did everything. And then finally I just said, screw it. I replaced the pads. That didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So finally we replaced the rotor, and it was only like a $12 fix. But I mean, it took a good hour to get down to that rotor and replace it. But right. That did it. Now it's quiet as a church mouse. But every brand new S2 I run into, I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
You got that, squeak, don't you? And so, like, what's going on in the factory? Like, it's a great product. I'm not bashing on Super73, but like, why are these things squeaking so much?
I don't know, and it seems to be like an S2 problem. All the RXs that our friends ride have never had that problem. But speaking about solving problems, like, I noticed that on my channel, my videos where I'm doing how-tos, DIYs, different products that I'm putting on my bikes, those tend to do better than my ride and talk videos. But the thing is like, I bought the bike to ride with friends, and so one of the challenges for me making like a ride and talk video, going back to what you said about changing up your environment, is that when you make these videos, you're not only riding on your time, but you're riding on your friends' time. So you can't really stop and set up shots and create like a story without driving your friends nuts, unless they're in on it. And so for me, I've noticed on this channel that I need to shift into that. People like the DIY how-to stuff, and so that's why I took the opportunity of you switching out your rotors to make a video about it. And what's nice about that is those stories kind of tell themselves. It's written for you. There's a start, a middle, and an end. You kind of have your 3 acts there. But no, I get what you're saying about having to switch things up. What else do you have going on that you want to talk about?
Well, I recently made a big investment. I heard that movie theaters are struggling, and so our local movie theater came up with an idea. They said, we know how to get butts in seats. We're going to issue an NFT, and this NFT gets you unlimited popcorn. Yes, you get the NFT, and you show your phone at the theater, and they'll give you a free bucket of popcorn for 5 years. And so I paid 0.25 Ethereum, which, depending on when you're watching this, it was around $300 at the time. But I thought, all I got to do is redeem that thing 35 times and it'll pay for itself, because a bucket of popcorn is like $7-8 bucks. So I'm a big fan of movie theater popcorn. So This has nothing to do with e-bikes or scams or anything, but you asked me.
Technology.
And
we'll talk technology.
I get all the popcorn I want. And the next 5 years are going to be glorious. So I'm look forward to this, a future video with me talking about my experience with this popcorn NFT. I think it'll be an exciting story to tell.
It's still early to tell, but because make videos about scams, this one could go either way, right?
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, it's an NFT, it's a scam. Well, yeah, a lot of NFTs are scams, but what is a scam? A scam is when you pay for something and you don't get what you were expecting or promised. So I'm putting this to the test. I'm going to say, am I going to get what I pay for? And so I'm going to see if I can get my money's worth out of this NFT. And if I can redeem it 35 times without getting sick of popcorn or getting sick in general, then it'll be worth it.
All right, so keep an eye out for that video. So we're going to wrap it up right here. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.